Hello, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to your Steeler Nation podcast sponsored by Total Sports Enterprises. I'm your host, G.Stryker, and there's only one path left for the playoffs, which means this week's game against the Bengals is a must win. The Steelers they already got through their first 9 games with 3 wins. They will need to win 6 or 7 in the next 8 to make the playoffs. The good news, there's only 2 teams left with a winning record. Both of them happen to be our divisional opponents, Cincinnati Bengals, 1 game, 2 against the Ravens. We're done playing the teams like Tampa, the Jets, Miami, Buffalo, New England, the Eagles. They're all done. We're getting our defense back. 2 games back from Cincinnati with 1 to play against them this week. 3 games back from the Ravens with 2 to play against them head-to-head. So we still have a chance of getting back in these races, the race for the division ourselves. Cincinnati's got a tough schedule as well. They've got Tennessee, Kansas City, Tampa Bay, New England, Buffalo, and Baltimore. 6 teams with 500 or better records. Baltimore only has 1 team left to play with a winning record, and that is Cincinnati, the last game of the season. It's going to be very difficult to make up ground on Baltimore, which means we have to win out in the division, might have to win out in general to catch up to Baltimore that last week of the season and hope Cincinnati finds a way to beat them and we have to sweep them. And that's the way it's got to go, guys. We definitely have to win both Baltimore games. We have to beat the Cincinnati game this week and Cleveland the next time we play them to be 5-1 in the division. That will give us the tie break against any other divisional opponent if we have the same record at the end of the year. There's a slim chance at a wild card as well, but the Steelers have a terrible AFC record this year. No tie breaks against Miami, New England, Buffalo, or the Jets. One of those guys are going to win their division. The other 3 already are the top 3 wild card teams. We have to be a game ahead of them because they already have it, and they're all 2 to 3 games up on them. So we have to get 3 to 4 more wins in the next 8 games, which is a very difficult to do. Maybe if one of them really falters and we find our way up there, but winning out in that category has to be the way for us to go as well. Steelers have to win, maybe lose just 1 to have a shot at the playoffs this season. One good thing about this next matchup for the next half of the season, this team is way better with TJ Watt back in the lineup, and that makes the whole team better. Case in point, Alex Highsmith, his bookend partner on the other side, makes AFC Defensive Player of the Week, 2 sacks, 3 tackles for a loss, and a forced fumble. And that is the TJ Watt effect, ladies and gentlemen. We've got him over there being single covered now. 2 and 3 guys being on TJ Watt's side. That opened up the game for Highsmith to make plays like it did week 1 in that first Cincinnati matchup when they had a tough time blocking either guy in that game. And I'm looking forward to that again this week. Now I've got a bigger question. What do we do with Kazee? He had an incredible first game started. 2 passes defense, had an interception, big hit. I know he got that penalty, but he's laying the wood, making great tackles. Do they put him next to Fitzpatrick this weekend? Or is he just going to be part of the big nickel package, 3 safety package? To me, he's a playmaker. I want him on the field as much as possible because he makes plays. Not like Edmonds, who might make a play every 4 to 6 games. We see him make 1 play. Kazee's making multiple plays each game. I want to see Kazee with more snaps than Edmonds. I hope that's the way it starts to move because I think that can be the best for the defense moving forward. Looks like Minkah Fitzpatrick also is Superman because he just had an appendectomy last Saturday. Nearly played Sunday. Definitely practiced fully on Thursday. Looks like he is going to play this week with only 1 week removed from that appendectomy. That's incredible. Absolutely incredible. Must have been laparoscopic. What they're doing with the glues nowadays, I know it takes 1 week for soft tissue really to heal. And that's really all it is a soft tissue injury when you're removing the appendix. the back of the book of the body, an organ we don't need. So great job on mending the flesh there. And we hope to see you there, Fitzpatrick. It'd be awesome to have you back on the field and have the big three of Watt, Fitzpatrick, and Highsmith that we haven't had back on the field since week 1. Witherspoon's probably going to be held out of this game. He should have been put on IR since he's been hurt like for 5 weeks now with that hammy. Larry Ogunjobi and Dotson both went from did not practice on Wednesday to limited with those hips. If they project up, which Larry O has been projecting up these past couple weeks to get him to play on game days, Dotson needs to do it since he's 1 game removed. But if they practice fully on Friday, I expect them both to be playing without injury designations. For Cincinnati, Chase is out with that hip injury. Tapuo, their starting defensive tackle, he hasn't practiced this week, at least on Wednesday or Thursday. We'll have to see his Friday practice, but it's not looking good for him to come back this week with that calf injury as well. I'm liking this matchup. The Steelers D gave Burrow fits last time. So sure, we might not get 4 interceptions this time, but I wouldn't be surprised if we got 2. And getting 2 on home field might be just enough to win this game. We'll see if we can get the Pittsburgh Pigeons out there flocking on the field to help us out with another game and get those Bengals swatting the birds all game long instead of worrying about the Steelers punching them in the mouth. That could be helpful. I'm also more optimistic about our running game finally shutting down a rushing attack like we did against Kamara last week, held them to 26 yards, held the entire New Orleans team to 29 yards rushing. Now we're going up against Joe Mixon, getting the lead in a game, holding time of possession makes it so that running game got condensed, forced them to pass a lot with Andy Dalton. We're going to hopefully try to do that again this week, hopefully getting our ground game going again against a good divisional opponent with a good defense. If we can start doing that against the own division, getting the ground game going, getting 100-yard rushers with Najee, then we're looking good. And it looks like Najee's going to be good because he's practicing fully on that knee that was a little banged up as well. But at least the defense is now well rested. Coming off a game they only had to play 20 minutes for, just a little over 20 minutes for last game. Get them out there well rested again after those 2 weeks off. They're playing with some confidence. I like this matchup coming up. Kenny Pickett, also, I wanted to note, he had no turnovers last game, and that's a first. So let's hope this starts to become a trend. I liked him getting out on the edge and as opposed to taking a loss. In the backfield, he's finding ways to shuttle that ball out of bounds, throw that ball away, live to fight another down. That's what we need out of you, Kenny Pickett, because you can fight that other down and you can make plays for us. Now it's time on the show for Questions from Steeler Nation, sponsored by Manscaped. Nobody has better ball protection than Manscaped. Go out there and get their platinum package, their lawnmower trimmer, weed whacker ear nose trimmer, ball deodorant, body wash with 2-in-1 shampoo and conditioner, the boxer briefs with a special pouch for the boys, and a travel bag to keep them all in one place. Get it all at Manscaped. That'll help turn your playa into an MVP. Yeah, you know me. Use promo code Steeler Nation, all caps, all one word, at manscaped.com. You get 20% off your order and free shipping. Manscaped, because nobody cares about ball protection more than Manscaped. Man, I love that read. Go on over to SteelerNation.com. That's where we're taking all our questions tonight, guys. I know we got a lot of our subscribers that watch this show live. We do our live show. We take all of our questions and comments live on Tuesdays at 7. So I'll see you then, guys. But until then, sign up for the football forum at SteelerNation.com. That's where I take the questions for the podcast. First question's coming in from /Steel. Of course, my RV broke down again last week. I lost a tire, blew out the fill pipe, blew out everything connected to my generator. Had to drive it back home, and we had to drive back out the next morning. So, yeah, the RV is costing me some donuts. Time to trade it in. I'm thinking about it, / I really am. I'm thinking about getting it fixed up a little bit, selling it in the springtime, and buying myself a new rig. Also, next question from / what do I think about Kenny Pickett so far? I'm liking what I'm seeing. I like his poise. I think he's getting better each week. He's getting better at ball security. He's making plays with his legs also. I think he just needs to trust the pocket a little bit more to make some plays down the field. But he got sacked 6 times last week, so I can see why he had some happy feet. If this season ended today, what would be our top needs 1 through 3? For me, number 1 is going to be offensive line. Center and left tackle, I think, have to be upgraded. Strong safety would probably be next, then inside linebacker, because Bush is probably going to be gone next year as well as Edmonds. So unless we've already found our replacement in KZ, if he gets some more time, we'll see if that switches to maybe being some corner depth or some defensive line depth as the next ones. And we're going to need some more wide receiver depth, because who knows if Austin's ever going to play for us again. Blitz, next question from Blitz. How many draft picks do you see us using on offensive linemen this next year? 2. Left tackle and center. I think we're definitely going to go there. We might even go with a guard, but I think definitely left tackle and center. Next question from Blitz. What would you put the odds of us making the playoffs this year? I still believe, is what he says. I think they're slim, but I've laid it out. I think the Steelers can only lose at most 1 more game to make the playoffs. So I think with 10 wins, that puts them in. 11 probably puts them in no matter what. But 10 wins, they probably make it. But I think that none of those losses can be against Cincinnati or the Ravens. All 3 of those have to be wins for us to make this playoffs. Lidos, can someone teach DJ not to run backwards? Can't be a number 1 receiver when wasting away first downs. I mean, I understand what you're saying. Great wide receivers always think they can make that play. But he does need to stop that. I remember Juju doing that as well. Antonio Brown doing it as well. There's going to be times when they do that. Antoine Randall used to do that too, and Claypool. But we got to go forward. We got to get those first downs, make plays. But DJ's making more plays than not. Had another great catch down the sideline. He's making great plays every game. I know a lot of you guys want to hang on to those drops, but don't take away the fact that he's making an incredible catch every game to move the chains, getting us scoring a position. Hopefully those are going to start turning some touchdowns as well. Mighty Guru, I know deals usually don't get done during the season, but shouldn't the Steelers be extending Highsmith immediately? Not yet, Guru. Highsmith is still under contract next year as well through the 2024 season. So no way are they going to redo his contract during the season. In the offseason, they may, because it's not been out of the realm of possibility for the Steelers to extend players with 1 year left on their contract, especially if they're playing as well as Highsmith is. And you try to get him signed on a better deal because you're like, hey, I can let you play for $1 million or under $1 million this next year. What's he listed at? It looks like next year he's looked to make $1 million in base salary, $2 million for his bonus, being a almost $1.3 million total cap hit. Cheap as hell. So you get that transitioned to a more workable contract. It is doable, and it'll be less than, of course, the $26 million range that TJ Watt signed for. Maybe we can get him in the 18 range. That would be doable to lock him down for 4 or 5 years. A year early, getting him paid, that is worth it. To have those two playing in the prime of their careers would be a great move for the Pittsburgh Steelers, especially when they know they still have a rookie quarterback on his rookie contract for the next 4 years. That would be a smart way to use that money. Last question's coming in from MTC. Great question. Chocolate milk or strawberry milk? As a kid, my favorite was strawberry Nesquik powder in milk. Loved it. As I grew up, I started getting into the chocolate milk a little bit more. Especially living in Hershey for my middle school years. I turned into a chocolate milk fan, but as a kid, I loved that strawberry milk. And with the powder, you got that crunch with it too. Yeah, crunchy strawberry milk. It's a tough one for me. Toss up. Oh, gosh. I'd have to go with chocolate, though, for being an adult now, because it's a good mixer as well. I'll have to try mixing with strawberry. Are you guys going to go see the Cincinnati game this week? If you are, come by the Steeler Nation sponsored Terrible Tailgate, caddy corner from the closest corner of PNC Park to the Acrisure Stadium. We're right there on that corner that meets off of that lot. Terrible Tailgate, $40. All you can eat and drink with the buffet, open bar. We've got music. We got a DJ on site. We always raffle off memorabilia sponsored from Total Sports Enterprises. I haven't heard what the jersey is this week yet. Last week, it was Minkah Fitzpatrick. But we'll have something signed there. Probably a Color Rush jersey for the Color Rush game, and you get to wear it into the stadium. So come on over and see us at the Terrible Tailgate, sponsored by Steeler Nation. Lot opens at 8 a.m. at Lot A. We'll see you there on Sunday, guys. Be sure to come over to SteelerNation.com for all the great Pittsburgh Steeler-focused articles. Follow us on the vidcast next week on youtube.com/SteelerNation. Sign up to be part of that. We're going to be live there 7 p.m. next Tuesday. Tweet us at Steeler Nation. Instagram us at SteelerNation.com. Follow the podcast on Twitter at _SM Podcast. Or follow me, your friendly neighborhood host, Steeler Nation Striker, on Instagram, on Twitter, on TikTok, at SN Striker, spelled with a Y. That is all the time we have on the Steeler Nation podcast, sponsored by Total Sports Enterprises. I'm your host, G.Stryker, rooting along with you as always. Go Steelers!